Good morning. Hello. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday, and you are listening to the AskZena radio show. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so very much. If you are just waking up, or if you are just joining me, or you're a first-time person listening in, hey, just know that I am sending you some wonderful vibes, and we all need it. So thank you for tuning into the Good News radio station and listening to me, your coach, AskZena. Yeah. All right. So we've got some stuff to talk about, as we always do. But, I recorded last week and we talked about Mercury Retrograde. Well, we have a couple of more days of Mercury Retrograde. We've got 7 more days. And so we're going to talk about this because, I am always trying to inspire, motivate, and help you create this abundant life that you should be living, whatever that looks like, whether that's a 100-aire or a 1,000-aire or a millionaire or a billionaire, whatever you want to do. I am trying to inspire you and encourage you to live from your capacity within, and so grow and develop and unfold and be the person that you are created to be, and dust off all of the other stuff. So thank you so very much for tuning in to the Ask Zena radio show today. I do have a special guest, and we're going to bring her out in a minute, but wanted to sort of frame up this conversation because we're going to have a spiritual conversation today. Yeah, we are going to have a spiritual conversation today. And so I know, I'm always trying to infuse some new knowledge and give you something to ponder. That's because I want you to grow. I want you to expand. I don't want you to retract. I don't want you to go backwards. We are living in a very crazy society. I was reading the morning posts that come to my phone about the impeachment trials and all of that stuff, and they're gearing up for that. We are living in a very negative world where I'm just going to go out on a limb, where this one man can cause so much chaos and still be so smug and arrogant and hold his head up high like he ain't did nothing. Psh, man, I'm going to stop there. Because we are on the airwaves and my mouth might just go off just a little bit too much. And, anyway. All right. Enough ranting about him. Hello. Thank you again for tuning in to the Good News radio station. I know that you could be doing many things. You're probably on your commute this morning, but hey, thank you for tuning in and listening to me. So, we started this Mercury Retrograde, October 31st on Halloween. That crazy? And it goes until the 20th. And so I wanted to talk about some things that have been going on with me, and then just have this spiritual conversation and bring my guest out because she's going to enlighten us today on everything that is spirituality and just be able to help us to navigate this time. Right? Because a lot of people, if you don't know anything about Mercury retrograde, first just go out there and Google it. But it's when the energy in the planet is moving in reverse, and it's moving in reverse into a specific area. And it actually is not all negative. But unfortunately, because of the society and the world that we live in, we feel the negative impact before we actually feel the positive impact. During retrograde, believe it or not, some good things actually happen. Yay! So what happened to me is, as soon as it came in, like that Thursday, I was at a Clippers game and it was like, boom. I was sucker punched. And that Friday, it was like, boom, boom. And Saturday. So I have had car problems since Thursday of last week. And it's gone from, your windows no longer go up, so we need to fix your windows, and each window is about $400 to get fixed. And I'm like, can you just pull up the window and crazy glue it? Like, I don't even care. I never have any passengers in my back seat, but each window to have it fixed and to move the panel was $400. So, okay. So then the mechanic is looking at my car and gets that all taken care of. And then my car starts smoking. And then it's like a major oil leak that's leaking on an area that could cause a fire if I go one more block. And I'm like, holy moly. Like, I just, what? So, I'm going back home and I'm working from home and I'm trying to work all this stuff out in my head, and I started to spiral out of control, because what happens when you're hit with so much negativity, and now it's like your mobility, being able to get to work and get to the places that you need to get to, and Uber is so darn expensive where I live. It's like Uber to my job is probably about $45 one way. So then I would be spending $90 a day to get to Uber, to get to and from work. Crazy. All right. Car's getting to be fixed. Then all of a sudden, oops, got termites. Termites. So you're hitting me with my car. You're impacting me to be able to go make money, to go to work. And now in my home, you're going to have these little critters eating up the wood and everything in my apartment. I'm just like, okay, this is way too much. So let me tell you what I did, because I think I'm on to something, and then my guest will tell me whether I'm on to something. But at some point, I just went on the balcony, looked at the ocean, and I just let it go. Like, I stopped worrying about it. Because there was nothing that I could do. The car had to be fixed. The termites are going to have to be, fumigated. So what else could I do? I mean, I could sit there and worry and cry and fuss about all of this. I just let it go. And I heard this thing a long time ago, that when you're in a crisis, what you need to do is not think about the situation in the crisis, is you need to come up with one good thing about the situation. Just come up with one good thing. And here's the trick to that. Even if you have to lie to yourself, right? Even if you have to lie to yourself because you're using your imagination, and obviously you're not going to lie to yourself for the bad. You're going to lie to yourself for the good, right? So then what are you doing? You're planting these seeds out into the universe for more positivity, for more opportunity, for more expansion, because you're certainly not going to lie to yourself about something bad when all these bad things are happening to you. So it's kind of like using your imagination to now plant these wonderful flowers. And on that, I'm going to bring my guest out. I have an amazing spiritualist. She has been amazing for me and helping me through some situations. I don't even know how I found her friendship, but it must be a God connection. Miss Rae, come on out. Unmute your line and talk to us today.
Hello.
Hello, lady.
Grand rising, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We've been trying to do this for a little while now. But this is a perfect time because, we've got 7 more days of retrograde. And I was just sharing with people how I got over, that first couple of sucker punches, like we talked about. Mike Tyson is in the ring with me.
Yes.
And he's beating me down. And then after
I think he was in the ring with everybody.
Right? I mean, people have been telling me at work, their car, their this, their that, projects are falling through. So I got through those 3 days by, lying to myself about, well, you know what, I can do this and I can do this. And this time working from home gives me, an opportunity to focus. And believe it or not, I was able to push out an ebook and a project that I'm now finalizing that I've been putting on the back burner. So my car broke down. Yeah, my car broke down, needed to work from home, had that time where it was just me and my computer and working, and I was able to push out a project, even do the graphics and all of that stuff. And so that was amazing. So that was the one thing that I sort of lied to myself about. Like, you know what? I lied to myself and I said, yep, it wasn't a lie, right? But I said I could be really, really creative and use this time. Thank goodness that I have this time to work from home and I can go out there and refresh myself by smelling the ocean and listening to the waves and so forth. Okay, so got through the 3rd day. And then I did Uber to work Thursday and Friday. Went to pick up my car on Friday. And I guess universe, Mercury Retrograde said, shoot, she think that was easy. Oh, no. I'm not done with her. Pick up my car. My mechanic is like, has the check engine light been on? I was like, no, Mike, it hasn't been on. He was like, well, this is bad. He was like, this is bad. I was like, what? He was like, I have 5 transmission codes coming up on your car. Have you ever had I was like, no, you can't. I was like, how much is a He said about $8,000. I said, oh, no. No. So he said, well, can you leave the car over the weekend? I know. He said, could you leave the car over the weekend? And I said, well, Mike, I need to go down the hill. I need to go home and I need to do some grocery shopping. So he said, drive the car, bring it back tomorrow, and then he'll let me use one of his cars. Love this guy. He's so amazing. I drive my car home. I'm in the car and I'm like, $8,000. Oh my God, I got to buy a new car. Oh my God. I'm like, I even reached out to you like on Saturday.
Yes,
and I was
I was just talking about this. Yes.
And I was like, okay, I need to be car shopping like this car. Like, don't break down now. Let me use you as a trade-in because I don't want to tow you in. I want to drive you in to get more money for the trade-in, right? Crazy. Okay. So I go there Saturday. I drop my car off. I walk across the street to go get breakfast. I am just like, whatever will be, will be. But then as the hours started ticking that he had my car, because I know he shuts down early on Saturday, I was like, oh, this is serious. So I started looking online and I found a couple of cars and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm going to have to Uber. Maybe I'll Uber to work for about a week and then get out of retrograde and then I'll go buy a car. Like my head was spinning. And then I just finally I went through that thing again. I released it, surrendered it. And I said, so I reached out to you and I said, well, I do kind of want a new car anyway. So, okay, it's not that bad. Like, as long as it will get me through 7 days of Mercury Retrograde, then I'm just going to go buy another car next weekend, whatever that looks like. And so I let it go. My mechanic called me at 5. He normally closes his shop at 3. His wife wants him home at 3. He owns the gas station. So he said, I don't know what it was. I said, what do you mean, Mike? Now, he's been working on my car for a while, and he's amazing. He said, I don't know what it was. I said, what do you mean, Mike? He said, all the lights are gone. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, I found this loose wire, and I thought the wire was blowing out the fuses, so I changed all the fuses, and all the lights are gone. You let me know if something happens, and let me know. You bring the car back or tow it back. He was like, but all the lights are gone. I spent 5 hours on your car today. My wife wants me home. I was like, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. So I don't know if I'm onto something, y'all. I mean, if I am and I can perfect it, I will certainly help you guys understand it, because that whole spiral and getting out of control. I know people who get flat tires and it's like it ruins their life. It's like it's horrible. Or traffic is horrible. But I have been, my prayer for the last couple of years has helped me to harness my energy so that I can be a positive person. And it happened twice. So I'm rolling in my car. Yes.
You did exactly what you're supposed to do during this retrograde. You didn't. Of course, we all panic at the beginning when things happen, and you'd be like, "Oh crap!" Like what? Because it comes so unexpectedly.
Yes.
But instead of looking at why is this happening to me, you said, "Okay, what am I going to do with this? What is this trying to teach me?"
Yeah.
Like when you were at home, I could sit and I could get this work done. This is meant for me to be right here. Once you change your perspective, everything is about perspective. Once you change your perspective on why things were happening, you see progress. That's all the universe wanted. They said, "Oh, she got it. All right, turn the lights off. She got it."
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about your perception right now.
So,
and that is the spiritual meaning of termites, of seeing termites. That means it's time for you to sit down and get some work done, and quickly, which you did.
Oh, okay. That's why I love this woman. That's why I love this woman. So one of the things that I've learned that came to me this morning on my drive when I knew we were going to have this conversation is I kept hearing in my head, the sooner you get out of your way, the sooner I will make a way.
Gosh, yes, absolutely.
And so I know that when things come at us, we personalize that, right? And we think that it's
Yes.
a personal
It's
attack
happening to
against us.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. The sooner I can learn from it, or at least glean and try to understand a little bit, like, what is this trying to teach me? That's the only thing. That's the only question that you need to ask yourself. I don't care
That's
any
the only
situation,
question.
work, unemployment, anything. That's the only question you need to ask yourself is, what do I need to learn from this situation? And then even if you don't even have the answer, because this is when I get into a little bit more in depth about how I was able to shift my energy, even when I didn't have the answer, whatever was coming to me, if it was coming to me to go eat a banana, if it was coming to me to go write, if it was coming to me to make a phone call, if it was coming to me to go tell someone that I love them, I just did that. And I let go of everything else. So I just got out of the way of the car, and I got out of the way of trying to figure that out. Now, the spiral is, I did go online and try to look at cars, and I did try to figure out the whole Uber thing and all. And that's just a normal human reaction to try to solve something or try to figure out a way for that. But the sooner you get out of your way, like, so Saturday, the sooner I got out of my way and realized it's 3:00 and Mike hasn't called me, oh, this must be serious. I got out of my way again, because we have to get out of our way a couple of times, right? I got out of my way again, and then he called me, and look on this man's face was like, I don't know what happened. I've been a mechanic for 40 years. Yeah, I've been a mechanic for 40 years. And I mean, he was like so much into it. He was like, can you call me if you drive the car tomorrow and if it doesn't work? Can you do, like, first of all, being a single woman driving a BMW, most people take advantage of you who lives by the ocean. They think that, like, I'm already a millionaire, but that ain't the case.
It's a billionaire.
Yeah. They think that I'm in that club, right? That's not the case. Not yet. Hold on.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
But so there are people that automatically try to take advantage of you because you pull up in this car and you live in this neighborhood and whatever. This man has never. So he's been a godsend to me from day one. And so, so at the end of the day, I was telling you how calm I felt, but I also felt very protected. And that's very different from any experience I've ever felt in the middle of a crisis. In the middle of crisis, I've never felt calm. I've never felt protected. But I had major car problems, job issues, and termites, and I felt calm and protected. Yeah.
And you got through it easily.
Yeah.
Everything just went away. As quickly as it came, it just faded away.
It was like the fog. The fog lifted, and it was over.
Mm-hmm.
The fog lifted.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're having this.
I think that was a test for you. To see how you were going to see if you were going to hold on to that control or just relinquish it, and like whatever happens. Whatever's for me, just show me. And you did that. And that was a major healing for you. Did you know that? You healed.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But you know what? You talked about you talked about a test, and I think a lot of us go through tests in life, and we fail because we slip back, or we fail because of our thought process, or we fail because we stay in the way. But you mentioned something really important, because I was a very controlling person. I was a very controlling mother. I was very calculated and controlling because and I don't know if I've shared this with you, but my past was abuse. I was abused as a child, and I was neglected. And so what I did is, in the areas that I could control, I over-controlled. Like, I over-controlled my personality. I over-controlled people. I over-controlled and calculated my career. And so I was controlling in my car, and controlling in this, and my children can tell you I was very controlling. But years ago, I started to release that because it started to harden me. I mean, there are some people who know me. Like, I have friends that have known me for 50 years. I'm 53 years old. So I have friends that have known me for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And there are people who know me that don't know this Zena because of the person that I was before.
Because you never let them see the Zena.
No. And they don't even know how to have a relationship with this Zena, because that other person, I'll say it. I mean, I probably was a biatch. I'm just being honest. I love being transparent because when I'm transparent, I'm not holding anything back. And that, again, is that control, right? I don't even care. I don't care what, people say, like, oh, she's saying these things, but yet she says she believes in God. That's between me and my God and my relationship there. So let's leave that alone. But anyway, I used to be so controlling. So you mentioned control. And I'm walking around seeing people, even people that I work with and executives and so forth, they're trying so hard to hold on to this control that the rope is burning their hands. And they don't even realize there's freedom in letting go.
And letting go. It hurts more to hold on. Yeah. I promise you. It hurts more to hold on. Once you let go. And then once you let go, you realize it's not even as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Like, what was I waiting for? But it's that fear, it's that ego.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You have to transfer that ego because the ego is like, no, I'm going to be in control so I can, like you said, you controlled how you had relationships with people so you wouldn't get hurt. There was a defense mechanism for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to be on top of this. You have to go by my schedule.
Yes.
And by my rules.
Yes.
If you don't want to play by.
Yeah. And they're passive. Look, there's some passive control folks too.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of passive control.
There's a passive control.
There's a lot of passive control.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what they want. They want everybody.
Oh, yeah. And then we won't even talk about the narcissist, but we're going to leave those out for today.
Oh, that's a whole other That's a whole other radio show.
But we need to have that conversation. Yeah, we need to have that conversation because a lot of people don't realize that they're in relationships with narcissists and they're like trying to be salmon, swim upstream, and it ain't gonna happen. And it ain't gonna happen. But that's another conversation. But we're gonna dance with this spiritual conversation. And one of the things that I wanted to tell people, I might have to sneeze. Oh my gosh. This is live. This is live. This is the AskZena radio show on the Good News radio station. And I have to sneeze. I'm a human being, darn it. But I wanted
to say you still human.
But I love our energy today. I wanted to talk about spirituality. And I wanted to specifically hone in on your gifts, talents, and abilities and mine. But the gifts, talents, and abilities that we were born into this incarnation with, we are all intuitive human beings. And there are people that put labels on intuition or the ability to prophesize or the ability to see into the future or the ability to really listen to our gut. Like, I don't need to do that. I met someone just a couple of weeks ago and after the first conversation, I was like, no, don't, none of that. None of that, but I listened to myself and I blocked his happy ass. Cause I was just like, oh no, I'll never, ever, ever, ever. But it was another test, but I passed that test. But anyway, nice guy, probably great for someone else, but I'm not accepting applications. And so I blocked him. He started a whole different conversation that I wasn't engaging in. Anyway. So, but going back to this intuition, that was a gut. Like I'm having this conversation for 45 minutes and he's telling me about his kids and we're talking about coaching and the conversation started to do these weird dances and I was just like, no, I'm not that girl. Like, I don't care who you are, what you look like, what kind of money you have, how fine you are. You're not for me. Like block, delete.
No.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to describe to people is everyone has this innate gut feeling, innate intuition, but we don't listen to it. And so what I have done and what Miss Ray has done is we have really developed and listened. And whether that's through meditation or whether that's through spiritual practices or whether that's through personal growth or whether that's just being open and receptive, everyone has this. So I'm sharing this because this woman here is powerful. powerful. Like I said, I don't even know how I found her, but I love her. She has been amazing and instrumental in my life in helping grow me. And since I've been back in LA the last 4 years, I feel like it's all about growth. It has been all about growth because it has been challenging to the core of my being here. But yet I've had massive success and will continue to have massive success as a result of the growth. So as we start to talk about spirituality and we start to talk about people, I just want you to know that whatever you decide to put a label on, so I'm going to say this that one of my teachers told me a long time ago, you cannot recognize something in someone else that doesn't reside or has reside within you.
Say it again.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to say it because I need to clarify this because that's the nugget I'm dropping on you today. Is you can't. So let's talk about this. You can't recognize jealousy, someone's diva personality, someone's overcriticalness, something, good, bad, or ugly. You cannot recognize something in someone else that has not or does not currently reside in you. So women, if you out there saying your man is cheating, somewhere that must resided in you. If your man is, I'm just saying, this is just how the universe works. It's like if I am blind to colors, if I was born and I never saw colors, I wouldn't recognize colors. It would have to be another sense within my body that would kick in for me to understand colors, but I would still never be able to describe pink unless I saw pink. Unless I know what pink looks like, unless I know what pink feels like. So, last nugget on this. You cannot recognize anything about anyone else, unless it resides within you. Right? So, that's what I'm going to say about that. So, Miss Rae has been an amazing healer and just a transformation coach with the people that she works with and with working with me. And so much so, I'll make this announcement, even though I wasn't going to talk about it till like December, but it doesn't matter because I'm standing in my truth, right? So,
yes, you are.
So I have been a recruiter for 25 years and I have hired thousands of people. The last 14 years, I don't meet anyone. You guys have heard the story. I physically don't meet anyone. I physically don't see them. I only do interviews via the telephone. And 98% of the time, I am accurate in terms of that's the person that they need to hire. So let me give you an example. I was talking to a journalist I think she's in D.C., and her energy on the phone was so darn amazing. I was just really vibing off of her. And she said she was flying into LA, and I said I wanted to meet the news director. Now, didn't have her resume, didn't look her up on LinkedIn, didn't know what she looked like. When she came in that Friday, I walked her to the news director, walked her to someone else. They walked back to my office and they were like, I love her. We've got to hire her. Like, we've got to find a position. I was like, right? Like, she's awesome. She's amazing. Now, that's just how the energy just transcended over the telephone. I never knew anything about her. I didn't even know where she worked, why she got fired, if she got fired, whatever happened. She was just so amazing that I had to bring her forth. So I said that to say that the announcement that I'm going to make is I'm actually doing a career change. It's not really a career change, but I'm putting everything all together. I'm making this wonderful pizza or this wonderful cake. And Zena Contreras is going to be the intuitive career coach. And I'm going to be helping people find jobs, get promotions, find what they need to find on their path and on their journey. That's going to be coming in January 2020. Yes.
I'm happy. Yes.
I have a guest in here, Miss Rae. I have a guest in here. Yes, I have one of my favorite people. And I don't even know how I found him, but I found him and I have been so in love with this person and his empowerment and his story. Like, if ever, man, just love his story. We were driving to Dodger Stadium. Yes, we were driving. This is an intentional meeting. This is an intentional. Which mic is that? 3. Okay. We're going to bring this man out here. This is Mr. Keith Good News. Yay!
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello, Keith.
Hello. I had to come because Zena was raving about you. And she personally texted me, said, hey, I have somebody special on this week's show. And I said, if you got somebody special, then I got to make sure I'm there. So I am here in the flesh. So happy to meet you.
This is Miss Ray Keith.
I like your energy already.
See?
I appreciate
it. See? Right? I told you he's amazing. Like yes. Doesn't it make you excited?
It do. It's amazing. It's just electric. I love it.
Yes. So that is him 100% all the time. That is who he is. So we were talking about spirituality, Keith, and we're calling this a spiritual conversation. And I was just telling people about intuition, that we all have intuition.
Yeah.
And I know that you've shared some of your spiritual growth and development that you've been going through. And when I met Keith, I would have never believed that he had just started this journey. Like his soul is an old soul. It's like he's been in this game, this spiritual growth and development for years in my mind and in my spirit. But when you know him and you hear his story, it's only been a couple of years. And the leaps and bounds that he has achieved. So I'm just going to let you two have a conversation because I think you have some stuff to tell him.
Oh, I'm open. I appreciate that. That's so kind. So kind.
You're so gracious. Okay, let me see.
So, where do we start?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to dive in. Okay, so I'm going to call on my spirit guides, guardian angels, and ask for permission to get in contact with my higher self. I would love to invite Keith, spirit guides, guardian angels, and ask for permission to get in contact with his higher self. I would love to call on Archangel Michael to wrap this reading in your blue shield of protection and make sure that only the highest good comes through. I would love to call on my goddesses, Isis, Yemiya, Oshun, Hecate, and let's get this started. Okay, Keith, so some information just came to you that is kind of, it's bad, but it's good. It's bad, but it's good. It's helping you to move on, and you actually just spoke your truth to this person that just came out, and it's a woman. It's a woman. I don't think this is romantic, but
let's call it a friendship.
Okay. No, I'm listening. I'm here for it. I'm accepting it all. I mean, because I gotta shut my mouth so I can learn.
Hello. Okay, yeah, so let's just call it the friendship. Okay, so if it hasn't come out yet, but I feel like it came out recently, like in the last 2 days. It was kind of difficult for you to hear because it wasn't surprising to you though, because everything that came out, her truth, you already knew it. And it threw you for a loop because you really had faith and love in her. But be grateful that this information came out because it is going to help you to move forward deeper in your path. She was kind of a blockage for you. So this happened to you. This happened for you, not to you, okay?
Okay. All right.
You feel like where do you feel like you're trapped in moving forward in your spiritual journey or with your career? You don't know which steps to take right now.
It's interesting because I had a meeting was it the day before yesterday, and the goal of the meeting was to write out the next 15 steps. Like, so, that was the purpose of the meeting. So that definitely has some resonates because it's all about, figuring out the steps. So I feel like maybe I was stuck. Yeah, I could definitely say I always feel like fall brings that type of energy though. The autumn, it just makes everybody feel different. I think it's because after the summer is so much excitement and so much, everything is really strong and we're vibrating at such a high frequency during the summer. Naturally, in the fall, you get the opposite of that, which is the natural balance or whatever you want to call it, harmony. But so I definitely feel like I was in that space, and now I'm coming out of that space specifically. Like I now know what I am doing now. Mm-hmm. That definitely resonates. The steps forward. Yes.
Well, the spirit is saying you don't have to have all 15 steps right now. Start off with 5.
Yeah.
And take those 5 steps, because that's going to, you don't have them right now because you don't know them right now, because these 5 steps are going to show you something totally different.
Yes.
And then you're going to have your next 5 steps after that. So just go with the flow. Keep following your intuition. You have let go of a lot of fear and a lot of worry, just about how everybody around you perceives you. You let that go, and you fully stepped into who you are, and your purpose. And you got some blessings coming. The universe is about to bless you. 2020 is a big year for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to have a kid in 2020.
You should put your eyes on billions, because you're going to be more than a millionaire.
Yeah.
You can say that again. Let's just stop the show right there. We can just go home. That's it. We done for the day.
Mic drop.
Right.
No. I have seen, when you shared your story with me, I was like, this guy is going to create a movement.
Thank you.
Like, I don't know what it is, because I'm not in your head and we don't talk all the time, but I just felt like your story was so powerful for people who are really struggling and they don't know why they're struggling. It's like they have visions and ideas of doing things, but nothing ever gels. Mm-hmm. And then they fall back.
Yeah.
But you kept moving forward in your conviction and in your direction. Even when nothing was manifesting, you kept moving forward. And I feel like that's going to help start some sort of movement. It's going to encourage, inspire, definitely men, but also
I was going to say the what he's about to do for Black men.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, we need you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I would agree.
Yeah.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith is in today's life and world, and I come across a lot of different people. I meet a lot of different men, and you know how women say there aren't that many good men out there, right? I can say that, and I've only known you like a year, but I just feel it so intensely. And like a matter of fact, when we were at the showcase, I wanted to say hi to your father, because I was like, I want to shake your father's hand and say, you created this. Like, this is amazing. And people need to know that we have that within us. Like, we don't have to be hustling and manipulating and trying to scheme, and we don't have to live from that brokenness. Yeah. And there was a point in your life where you did experience brokenness, but you also had an awakening. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And that's where the spiritual awakening comes from. Mm-hmm. It's to being at that space where you really have nothing else but your spirituality to get you through. That's why I think, unfortunately, people go to jail to experience this, but some people do come out of that, have been well-read, have been spiritually grown, and it changes them in a positive way. And it don't happen all the time, but some people find their spiritual growth in that element. Mm-hmm. But I felt like I was in my own personal jail in my mind, and then that allowed me to have that same experience. Because I was in my room, I didn't have a job, so it felt like I was in a jail cell. I didn't have no money to go nowhere, didn't have no gas money, so it felt the same. I couldn't eat like that. I was eating really, cheap things. So to me, it was an experience of being in jail and, having nothing but a few books. And I found a Bhagavad Gita just sitting in my closet that I had for years, didn't even know I had, and finally cracked that thing open. And yeah, that was my time of spiritual openness, really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it. One thing that came to me, and then Ray, I'm just going to let you take control, because I'm sorry I'm interrupting. But I don't know if on your journey, Keith, that you have thought about workshops.
Doing workshops?
Yeah.
Like actually hosting them or going to them?
Yeah.
Hosting them?
Yeah.
Man, Zena be so, you see, this is, let me tell you, Zena is really one of my spiritual, I would say, how do they say it? What do they say? Person that watch over your angel, your guardian angel.
Oh,
she's
she's your earth angel.
Yeah, really, she's my, spiritual guidance, because she always is on time with stuff, even if it's not on purpose. I can't tell you how big that is, what you just said, and I'll get into that later, because that's a whole different conversation. Okay. But thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. No, I texted Keith. I was supposed to be texting a friend of mine who's a professor. I don't even remember, because when I'm in the zone, I don't remember. And I texted Keith, and I was like, and he responded, and I'm like, why is he responding to me? So I pulled over, and I was like, oh, man, I wasn't meant to text that to you. But then I never got back to the other person. And Keith was like, that was so on time. And I was in my car like, that was so random. Like, is he going to be okay with this?
Because
Like,
it was meant for him. Even though you didn't know it, it was meant. That's why he got the message.
Man.
Wow.
I needed it too.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So, but in this new development of myself, what I have done is I am listening and I'm speaking. And I'm not holding back. And I don't care. Like today I texted someone to say that I genuinely love you. Not in that way, but everyone needs to know that they have someone that loves them unconditionally.
Really love them.
And,
absolutely.
And so I texted and I said, you don't have to respond because I know this is going to be awkward because it wasn't something that I said to this person in a while, right? And I know they're probably looking at their text like, what? But from that space, I felt unconditional love, like this person was going through something or is, and just needed to know that they had someone that knows they've done wrong.
Right. Yeah.
knows they've done wrong, but just stood in this. Yeah. Yes. But just stood in a space of unconditional love. And, so I'm learning how to honor that, and I'm learning how to do that more. And
learning what that is a whole another challenge. I didn't really know what it was until I think I had my daughter. Like I didn't.
She's so beautiful.
I didn't experience it from me. I know what it felt like to receive unconditional love, but to give it, I never had to experience that. So that was a whole different. That was the first time I've ever experienced.
Wow. And he's an amazing father. You should see the pictures of them too. I mean, you could just see the love just emanating from both of them. Like her looking at you like you're her hero.
I would like to, that's what I strive to be. Honestly.
Yeah. Like you're her hero. Yeah. So she is indigo, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's magical.
Yeah.
She's indigo. Yeah.
How would you?
See, I'm telling you, I'll be here to listen. I'll be coming to learn. Cause that's where it's at. It's just coming to learn from people who know more than you. And look, I'm here.
Yeah, she's powerful. The first time I met her, I sat in the back seat, and I didn't want to sit in the front seat. I sat in the back seat all the way, and I just wanted to just play with this little girl. Like I felt like I was a little girl, playing Barbies or whatever. And we talked the whole way, and she's amazing. She's amazing, and she's going to be an amazing conviction for you as a man.
No, yes. I don't know what a daughter does to a man, but it is like a different. Unfortunately, my vocabulary is not wide enough for me to express myself. So I'm just going. But y'all get where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So go ahead, because I'm trying to stay out of his energy, but there's a lot going on. Go ahead and talk to him, and then we were going to have another guest. We'll see if she shows up.
She said she was going to come.
Yeah. Yay! I need you to speak into life into these two people, because they need to hear what they're about to embark upon.
But she was dead on with the seminars and the conferences.
Yes.
You're especially, and it's funny you mentioned jail, because you're going to go there, but you're going to talk to you, and you're going to change a lot of these men's lives to let them know, because they could relate to you. You can relate to them. You from the streets of LA. You know this.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like I can. I've been looking at that so much more as far as like teachings, and now I've been trying to do like videos and stuff, giving away free content, because for a few reasons. One, I feel like I've learned a lot and I can share it with people. And two, I have to, build up on my reputation. It makes me learn and me spread my knowledge of what I think I already know. And just become a student all over again and be able to, if you become a student, then you know how to create students. So that's kind of what the purpose is right now.
Stop being students. We learn all our life. You're always a student. Everything that you go through is a lesson.
You're always getting it is what I've heard before. You never get it because you're always getting it. So
I just wanted to say, because I don't want you to be narrow-minded. So I feel like this is going to be the first time that someone has said this to you. But the package or the products that you can deliver to a male is far beyond the podcast.
Yes.
I mean, far beyond. I mean, what we're talking about with your daughter, that stuff is amazing. You can go into that environment and teach men from the purest. Yes. Yes, because I think that what happens with a man, and I'm not a man, so I'm just thinking, right? I think what happens is when life burdens them, they become overwhelmed and they become buried.
Yeah, because they're taught not to have emotions. Yeah. They're taught that men are not supposed to cry. They're supposed to just get through it. Like, it's no.
Right.
Everybody has emotions. Everybody, you're supposed to. And so they don't learn their lessons because they don't have nobody to go talk to, or they feel like they have to hold on everything in themselves. Yeah. So, a lot of them slip into this dark place.
So they become buried.
In your head. And a lot of people are stuck in the personal jail, in the mental jail. Mm-hmm. That's walking around free every day, but they stuck in a jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think one of the two biggest fears of any person, human, is fear of poverty and fear of responsibility. I think those are the two major things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and fear of change. Yeah, that would definitely be on that same top list. But fear of poverty, it makes you not take chances. One, especially when you have, and it's not even fear of poverty yourself. I have a family, so it's do I want to and I'm not just risking me. I'm risking my daughter. So that's we take the weight of our families. Women do too, but for a man, in our mind, we believe that we do. Even if we can have a woman that's a billionaire, still in our mind, we still have to lead the way for the success of building a successful family, having a successful family overall. So, that's like a life. It's like a life weight.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, Keith, because you just brought up a good point. I think that some men all have good intentions. I come from a place of believing everyone has good intentions, right? And I believe that they all have good intentions, and but yet life buries them sometimes, and they just don't know how to get out of it. And so they just either stay stuck or they reverse. Sometimes our comfort zone is our bad zone. It's a place that doesn't help us to grow or elevate or anything like that. But I say sometimes in my coaching that people are pursuing pain more than they're pursuing pleasure. I want a new car. I don't know how to get a new car, so I'm just going to keep this car
because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And like she said, fear of change. Fear of change. Fear of change may lead to success, and success may lead to responsibility. And sometimes on Monday morning, I always talk about, my favorite quote is "You're gonna die." That's my favorite quote to live by. If anybody ever quotes me, that's probably what it's gonna be. You're gonna die
one day.
It's just, it's just guaranteed. So it's kind of like a lot of things don't matter that you think matter. Sometimes we don't do things out of fear, and I always say, hey, what's the worst that can happen? And usually the worst that can happen is you end up right where you already are currently. Exactly. So, like I said, the fear of responsibility comes with success. So I think it's more so, that's the heavier part along with the family. It's like, okay, now I got to also be a man. And what does that mean? And how does that... I don't know. I think Zena's right on the head with the buried part, though.
But I'm seeing. So as we go through this, I'm actually seeing like one of the things that you have done that maybe you don't realize that you've mastered is you've mastered that comeback. You've mastered that mental comeback, that spiritual comeback. But also, you have mastered You have mastered this relationship from a man and what a man's responsibility is to a daughter, because I will tell you, my story, and I didn't have a father that stood in and embraced me or encouraged me or made me feel special or even said I was beautiful. But those things from a man, a father, help shape the morality, the self-esteem of a woman, right? And your daughter will never have self-esteem issues.
No.
Never. because you are our hero. And so I think if men could stop looking at, so I'm going to go a little bit deep here. If men could stop, the men in prison, men who are out there getting their hustle, if they could stop looking at what they need to accomplish materialistically to be whole in this world, and realize that we can do it on a karmic level with an individual, a daughter. Because you have a lot of men. I was just watching Judge Judy while I was working. It was like, man has 10 daughters and he's looking to get married again. I'm like, dude, do you know what karmic stuff you putting out there that you're not even like looking at what's in front? I mean, you could shape shift one of your children to be a productive member of society, an influencer, a person of conviction, just one. And look what you've done to open up those pearly gates for yourself, right? So I think for me, if I think about men, and I think about men always say, well, I got to have my money right, or I got to have this right, or I got to have that. But if you have a relationship right, everything else starts to open up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And you've mastered that.
I made it a part of my job.
Mm-hmm.
Like part of my, life is a business. And when I started treating life like I treat business, it started to change. It started to look at, I said, oh, okay, well, between the hours, like Jackie knows, between the hours of about 5 to 6:30, if that's an emergency, I'm doing homework with my daughter. And that's a part. It's just like, hey, I'm in a meeting right now. I can't talk. Mm-hmm. So I started kind of taking that approach to things, with my family and even with, my girlfriend. I just started taking that approach. Mm-hmm. Example, last night when my buddy's like, hey, let's go to, it's a good networking opportunity. I was like, no, that's not. I got to make sure I spend time with my lady. You. I have to make sure I do that because that's just as important as this networking meeting. Mm-hmm. And I think that's that. People go for that like that life work balance, but it's really just harmony. It's really just harmony.
Wow, that's amazing. There's a lot in this man. There's a lot in this man, and I
love that.
Yeah, it's not just podcasts. It's not just leadership, but it's whole relationships.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I mind you, I'm not. I just learned some of this stuff, so this ain't. I don't want nobody to think like, oh, he got it down. No. I've been through a lot of not doing shit right for a very long time and learning along the way. And like I said, I think more so, I just started to become intentful about every single action, about my meetings, about, my relationships. I tell my cousin, I called him the other day. I said, he's like, what you doing? I said, okay, cool. I want to come over and share some. I don't know what we're going to laugh about, but I want to come and create laughs together for a moment.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, that's my reason for wanting to visit you.
Yeah.
So it just became more intentful.
One of the commercials that I love, I'm not sure what car it is, but it's the guy texts his friend, and his friend drives this red car, and he's driving all through, and he pops up at his house. He was like, so you responded to my text in person? He was like, yeah, LOL. And I was like,
Right. I've seen that commercial.
Intentional. Like and I think that you do this. One of the things that I've experienced with people who are different than my age is that we are so much on social media. But the one thing that I love about Keith is Keith will respond. Like he's going to reach out to you. He's going to respond because he cares. Like, and a lot of men think that caring is this sappy thing, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not. Yeah. He's intentional.
Have some daughters, and that's probably what happens. Yeah, you got to.
Wow. So is there anything else that you have to tell Mr. Keith?
No, just 2020 is going to be your year. You everything that you have been working for, all of the lessons that you have been through, and it's not that you just learned anything. You're just acknowledging it, and you're remembering, okay, this is the way to go. It's paying off for you. Like everything that you have been asking for, your intentions that you have put out to the universe, they have been heard. And just wait till you see what next year is bringing you. You're gonna be so excited.
I am excited. This was a good year. I'm happy to see what happened in December 2019. It's been a long year. And I like long years. Mm-hmm. I like long years. I like long days.
I love long years.
Yeah.
So it just came to my mind, Ray. We went to where did we go have breakfast? And they had that room, that banquet room in the back.
Oh yeah.
You see him there?
I forgot what it's called.
Doing those workshops. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm in. Y'all
Starting off.
Y'all are speaking the same vision that I have. So
Yeah. But wait till Jackie jumps in, because there's going to be a connection. So I feel like I just saw like this infinity symbol, and there's going to be a connection. So this is no coincidence. Which one is that? Is that not 7?
It's 5.
No, nothing's a coincidence.
Oh, she's
It's upside down, Jack.
Oh.
I will say this for those out there, Jack. If you wherever you see me in any capacity, you will also see this person.
Yeah.
Jackie is the first person who, outside of anybody in my family, who really took the same gamble on this vision that I had, and really has been incredibly consistent. I mean, she's been with me literally since almost the beginning, and she hasn't missed a day. She hasn't missed a beat, and it's going on, 3 years, which 3.5 years now. We've been together and started from my dad's basement, should I say, and here we are now. So you best believe, wherever you see me as far as my success, Jackie is going to be right next to me. Yeah. That's for sure. So yeah.
I actually,
you guys are connected. You guys are connected. Her vision was your vision.
Yeah.
Her vision was your vision, and you guys didn't know it, but you guys were the missing link to each other, and that's why when y'all came together. It was time. 3.5 years ago, it was time to start this process.
Yep.
So it's almost like twin flames, right? But on a business, but on a business perspective,
all twin flames are not meant to be together.
Yeah,
yeah.
But there's a karmic connection. Like you two, they are here to fulfill a particular contract, an intention on this planet.
Yeah,
and so. Yeah, so Jackie has this amazing show on Friday night called Ladies Night.
I like that.
Yeah. And it is full spectrum, all out. Nothing is left behind. It's like,
guess who'll be tuning in this Friday?
Yeah. No, and I love it because, she's having conversations that we have as girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
But she's doing it with an audience, because she's having that conversation that maybe you're scared to ask your girlfriend, or maybe you might, sometimes we'll ask a stranger something before we'll ask, our friends. But she's having these conversations that maybe women should be having with their men.
Yeah.
And they are just open and honest and very authentic with it. And I love that, because I think that we are losing the art of communication. You can only text so much, and you can only, use so many characters, and emojis are really not expressing. But in the art, losing the art of communication, we're losing the art of our feelings and expressing our feelings. And that's the one thing that I love about the energy that she brings and the vibration she brings. And this really is Keith's partner in crime in building this business, and they have amazing ideas. So I wanted them here today. I only invited them here today because I want you to speak into them, because I'm getting chills.
You're giving me chills.
I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills. When I think about how I was dropped into Keith's lap, and that what he's done for me, because I'm an introvert. I don't talk to anybody. Like, I go home and I'll close down. It's just so amazing that people now hear my voice and want to hear more about what I have to say. And that day that I sent you that text and you responded and you were like, this wasn't random. I was like, no, I was scared in my car. Like, what is he going to think about me? Because I said this and I don't know how this applies. And I pulled over and I just said, lean into it, because that's what you were supposed to say. And so much of my life has been held back, being really constricted in terms of corporate America and what I could say and what I couldn't say. So I love this place to be able just to speak randomly, whatever comes to my mind, but also to be able to use all the things that I've learned to help people.
Yeah, I think from that whole situation, I can understand why a fear would arise, because most people in a certain position and men together combine that creates a big ass ego.
Yes.
And but my intent is always to remove it. you know. And I said before, I told Jack, I'm too far into this to let ego even exist, because I understand. So I can see why the fear of anything would happen, but I'm glad to know that you trusted me, and that I'm proud of myself, you know, for been able to exemplify and prove that, you know, there's no ego for me here. Like, I'm here to learn.
It's funny you bring that up, because we were literally just talking about ego on Monday, and how it ruins a lot of businesses. And I think that you kind of hit the nail on it. Keith is unique. Keith is very special, the way that his leadership is. And you're right, him being a male, him being the CEO of this company, when you walk in, you don't feel that, you know, that type of energy. And I think I've had good and bad leadership, and I know that where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely.
I love working with him. We balance each other. We also bounce amazing ideas off each other, and we support each other. And even if we disagree, which has been happening recently, I think, we're so professional on the way we talk to each other, and we give each other that respect on things. And that's what I love, is that we bring different ideas to the business. But Keith has been one of my favorite person that I've ever had worked with, as far as just his energy is just, I don't know. I feel I'm where I'm supposed to be at this very moment, and
absolutely
I love it. I love working with him. He's no ego here, nothing like that, and that's what I love about him. And and it's so funny, because I didn't know it was retrograde. Is it Mercury retrograde right now? And I've been very emotional lately, and I was telling him, this might be TMI, but I was like, I don't know if it's because I just got off my period or not. I'm very emotional, Keith, but I appreciate you for listening, being patient with me, because just the other day I just started crying on the phone, and I was like, I'm sorry for crying, and he's like, it's fine. And then that's when I said that comment. But it makes complete sense now. You know, we're going through a lot of changes at the moment. Things are shifting. And so as you're trying to find your balance and refocus your energy, he allows me to do that without judging me, without where other men leaderships have made me stop being a girl, stop being a woman, man up. And I would hate that. I hate that. And so
they make you feel small.
Yeah, it belittles you. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves, when people try to belittle you. And Keith has never done that to me. He's been very understanding. I think that's what makes us work so well. And then our energy that we have with each other, we relay that to the rest of the team.
Absolutely.
We want to make sure everybody feels that energy, even people who listen to the network or are just using our studio. We want to share that with all of them. And I love working here, you know what I mean? I love the business. I love good news. I love what we present here. And and even everybody on the network, I think we're attracting the right people, which is making it work even more.
Absolutely. You said something, and then I'm going to let her speak life into you, because one of the things that to get through the Mercury retrograde is definitely a challenging time, but it's also a revealing time. And so this was a revelation in your relationship, taking it to the next level. Sometimes arguments are meant to happen to bring people closer, to help them understand how to communicate what works for me, what doesn't work for you. And so the powerful thing about that, Jackie, is that you got through it. Yeah. You recognize this is why I did this show, and last week's show is because retrograde, people are they'll spiral. They'll be like, oh my gosh. And then they'll get stuck. And I come from a family that experiences bipolarism, experiences depression, ADD. And I have said, and I won't say it anymore, you've affirmed this for me, is I'm always fighting depression. Since I've been here for 4 years, I've never cried as much as I've ever cried. But I realize now that was my path. The tears in my mind were sadness. The tears were actually release. And so if we can turn this around, the tears are release. It was a release of him growing you. Maybe he's challenging you because you need to grow. Because if you're part of this man's vision, you gonna need to strap it up. Yeah. I do want to clarify that I was not crying about the business. It was more about a personal thing that that's how comfortable I am that I can share with my business partner. Absolutely.
My personal and it's a great balance, and he lets me be.
No one took that as Keith made you cry.
Oh no, it was not the good news.
No one took that way. I was just saying, no one took that way. But I know that you have been, sort of going through some stuff too. And that's why I really wanted to invite you here, because Ray has been an amazing healer for me and helping me to project forward. So where I used to take small steps and like, okay, I'm going to see how this works out, I'm taking forward leaps into my future. I mean, I'm having conversations and making plans for big stuff that me, Zena Contreras, I'm not that person. I'm like the person, go to work, go home, stay in my apartment, look at the ocean, like cook, and that's it. I'm like not a social person.
Right.
So even this is a huge leap for me. So
and you're such a natural at it.
I tell her all the time.
I just saw a vision of you like on like you're gonna have a huge audience.
oh
I tell her all the time, like you know.
She is.
She know. I text her. I'll be like, "Yo,
you're
like you
so
don't understand."
natural
I'm
and
telling
like
you, it's
welcoming
crazy.
and warm.
okay, I'm gonna receive that right now.
I'm telling you, you got to,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
receive that.
because it's real.
As you were talking, I was like, oh my god, I can
Right.
totally see this on a huge platform, even bigger, and like
So uncomfortable about that, but okay. Even now I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, now going to Jackie.
That's how you do it.
Move
right?
it over to Jackie.
Right?
Right? Come on.
Such a
Spill it
natural.
into her.
she's a star.
Okay. So I do feel a lot of emotion inside of you. Like you've been crying a lot, but you're holding on to a situation that you're kind of beating a dead horse with this one, and it's some delays right now, but that's because you need to learn this lesson and you need to heal and you need to let go and you need to forgive. You got to take it way back. Wait, I don't want to put all your business out on the radio. So you need to take it way back to your childhood. You need to forgive. This person that you're trying to hold on to is kind of distracting you right now. And you are great to put on this happy face and this, but inside you feel discontent. Everything else is working out, and this one situation is just like falling to the fucking wayside. And you're scared. You're scared to move on. You I don't want to say scared. You have a fear like, okay, so what's next? You are next. It's time for you to love on you. It's time for you to pour all of you into you right now.
Yeah.
You have.
I think that's what my direction. I don't mean to cut you off because you just said something that. Yeah, I think I've realized that it's time for me to focus on me, and I think I feel guilty that I don't feel as guilty for letting that go and not giving it energy anymore. That's where I'm at the moment. Huh?
Why would you have to feel? Why would you have to feel guilty? You're doing what you need to be done for you, and that's why you don't feel guilty. So don't feel guilty that you don't feel guilty. I know people are like what, but I totally know how that feels. Like, damn, why do I feel? Because it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to focus. It's time for you to continue with your growth. This person is hindering it.
So whenever there's a contrast in a relationship and there's a constant contrast, you have to just stop and ask yourself, like, what is this? Because if it's for me to grow and go forward, or is this person pulling me back? And one of the things that I say, and I'd love to share this with you on your talk on your show, is so I'm going to get a little explicit right now. It's probably already going to have that on there, but we as women, when we have sex, we're not just in it for pleasure, but we're in an exchange. So if homie ain't right, you're going to take on some of that because it's going to be a residual effect within you. So I said that about sex, but in relationships, we take on, if we continue to have that person who is a contrast to us, then think about it as like some of that dirt is going to stay on our person. But we don't recognize it because once we walk out the door, we're like, I'm done with that person. No, you're not. You're taking that residual effect with you. And it's going to have some sort of effect in another situation at another moment. And so I can speak this because, a lot of times people say, well, aren't you close to your family, or you have family in LA? And I do. I have family in LA, but I like to be by myself because I don't want that drama. I don't want to feel like I have to justify who I've become. I don't, I had a family member who posted a stripper thing on my Facebook, and I was like, do you know who I am? I mean, not egotistical, but I was like, do you know what I'm trying to do out here?
Right.
I'm not trying to, maybe I'd go to a strip club, but I don't need everybody knowing.
Right.
And I don't want you posting it on there, right? But do you know what I'm trying to do? Do you know the collective energy that I am trying to create here? I've got business people. I've got TV people. You can't do that. And so she took it as a great offense and like blocked me from everything, told all the family members. But what that did for me is showed me we can't be in the same arena. We can't be in the same air. We can't, because you are not accepting who I am. And I started off the show talking about, like, there are people that I've known for 30 years. I've got friends that I've known for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I'm 53. I've got a friend that I've known for 53 years. These people don't know Zena. Right? They're thinking of old Zena, and sometimes those are like cigarette wounds, old Zena. But I'm an evolved person, and either you are going with me or you're going to be left behind. I'm not saying that to be critical, but don't let anybody stop. Don't let anybody stop what God has ordained for you. Yeah. And that's why maybe that's why I needed you to be here today, because I need Ray to speak life into you, because there is so much that you are going to accomplish, like so much. That's why you two are a force.
Oh, yeah.
And I need you to hear it.
I agree with that.
I tell her all the time, I say the fact that I'm a black male and that you're a Latina, female, like that dynamic you're not going to find. And that gives so much perspective. It covers so much, so much ground, so many categories, so many sense of understandings. I mean, it's just, man, it's like, she like her coffee dark, but I was going to say, it's really, it's like, most people like creamer with their coffee. Like you need that to break, it's a perfect combination. So, yeah.
So tell this woman what she has to look forward to, because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Who? I'm telling her?
No, Ray is going to tell you.
Oh.
No, you're not going to say anything. You just need to listen. You just need to listen.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I really want you to heal. I really want you to take this next 7 days to release. All these feelings that you have, release that, because it's blocking. No, not today while I'm on the phone. It is really blocking you, and you have amazing visions. Everything that you've seen for yourself, you want to go back to Latin America, and you want to help there. You're going to do that. That's definitely coming for you. You want to help these little girls. That's coming for you. You're actually going to have a center that specifically helps these little girls. These Afro-Latinas, black girls, everything. They're going to come to you for guidance and help you connect with them on such a deep level. Yeah. And you are a healer, and you are going to heal them. Like, don't stop doubting yourself too. Sometimes you doubt yourself a lot. You have to let that go. That's just a part of fear, but you have to let that go. Because, baby, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, you are beautiful. You are smart. And fuck whatever anybody has ever said otherwise. You have to forgive them.
Forget it. Forget about it. I really appreciate that, Ray. Thank you. I think everybody needs to hear, get their cup filled every once in a while. Sometimes we're so focused on filling other people's cups. So I appreciate that. I was a little on the empty side. I think I told Zena, because we've been trying to connect, and I just been in like a funk lately. So I was just like, kind of like you, I went in introvert mode, and it's kind of like, but I do that, I feel, to like fill my cup back up. I need to recharge.
But you have so many people around you, that love you, that will fill your cup. Right. You don't have to do it yourself, because you keep filling your cup with the same energy. And so two things that I wanted to say to you, which is really, really special. This platform that you're creating, you're speaking to women who have children. And so this is so big that it's just not this generation, it's the next generation. And I keep seeing things about sex traffic and all of this sex traffic with these kids.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Oh.
who's having that much damn sex with these little kids? I mean, what, like,
Right.
just cut it off. Like, seriously. But, so
Yeah.
I went on my rant. But that's you. Like there's some woman you're going to connect with that is going to be heavily involved in this, and you are going to be able to fill her cup to be able to work with this situation in some sort of country. It's not here. It's not here. But there's no, it's not here. It's not here. And so stop filling your cup with your own stuff. Allow other people to fill your cup. You have Keith, but Keith can't be the only one. I mean, you have to really realize that you are just changing lives. And so there's no coincidence that I offered you that weekend thing. Maybe now you'll hear it. And it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm always available. I'll make myself available. But I do want to help you with forgiveness, and I want to help you for the next 7 days with forgiveness. Very easy exercise. It's like forgiving 70 times 7, and we'll work it out, and I'll help that. And it will release a lot.
I'm already releasing some now. You guys can see it. I have like tears coming down my eyes.
No, but that's okay. That's okay because I need you to get a I need you, like people say this to me, like I need you to see this image that I have of you. I need you to see this image that God has created for you. I mean, it's so big. And so here's where I struggle, Jackie, because people have said the same thing to me. And I don't ever want to come from a place of ego because I used to have a big ego, Keith. I don't ever. So I understand. But also, it's not ego if you step into the realness of who you're supposed to be.
Right.
Sometimes just humanly, it feels like, oh, my God, people are going to not like me, or they're going to say that I'm doing this, or, that I'm trying to do something. That's because we've come from such small backgrounds.
Right.
But when you were born in this incarnation to be this really grand person, and you were born into a small existence, that was only part of the test. That was only part of the test to keep you humble. That is not to keep you from your greatness. Absolutely. So that's what you need to know. Like, it's not to keep you from. I mean, I was born on the Harbor Freeway to a drunk mother who was 17, who cut me out of her stomach with a switchblade.
What?
Oh.
There was an article. There was an article in the newspaper. Yeah. So if I was born in this existence and then had to deal with molestation and all this other stuff, you would think that like I would be a prostitute, a drunk, or this or this or this. No, because God is always on me knowing what my greatness is. And so my struggle with depression and struggle with my family and is because I'm trying to settle for where they're at. Yeah. I'm trying to stay where they're at. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to stay in that comfort zone, but that's not where I'm supposed to be because anyone who's born on the Harbor Freeway and their mama cut them out with a switchblade, don't you think they was born for some greatness? Yes.
That's a hell of a way to come out.
Right.
Don't you think? 17 years old.
Wow.
So much so, let me tell you, so much so that when she got to, I guess, Harbor General, they saw like all the blood. They took me from my mother for a couple of days. Like my mother didn't breastfeed me or anything. Mm-hmm. Normally they put the baby on the chest. They were like, she's got to go in a different room, and she got to go someplace else.
Wow.
That's a story for sure.
So, but I'm saying it doesn't matter whether it's that magnitude or that color or whatever. You have the same thing. You have the same thing. So don't let our smallness, distract us from our greatness. Right. And I'll help you with that, whatever way. I'll help you with that. But there's some things I feel like I'm sitting in front of, like, Oprah and like Tyler Perry. Like,
oh shit, like, come on,
in. Like there's some.
Go ahead and say what else you got down there. What else you got back
magnitude. There's like this it's like it's big.
I feel it.
It's big.
I feel like you're the Oprah. I'll be Ellen.
All we have to do is step into it. All we
Yeah.
have to do is step into it.
That is real. That
All
is
we
real.
have to do is step into
And,
it.
and almost claim it before but
Absolutely.
you got to believe it now.
Yeah, you gotta claim it.
Before it happens. I use the story of one of my frat brothers. His name was Jim Rat Pat when he was 300 pounds, and now he's down to like 180, and his name is still Jim Rat Pat. That was his moniker.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
you said he had put that as his Instagram when he was 300
when
pounds.
he was 300
Jim
pounds,
Rat
and everyone was
Pat.
like, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, you're not Jim Rat at all." Like, but he bought into it, and he became that person. But first, you have to start calling yourself that. It starts with self-talk.
Yeah.
And when you start telling yourself that, like almost saying like it's like personal affirmations,
Yeah.
but claiming it as a name, and then you just you get comfortable with it,
Yeah.
and then you start embodying it naturally.
Exactly.
So yeah, I believe that.
It becomes your second skin.
Mm-hmm.
Becomes your second skin. So thank you so very much.
Thank
Did you have
you.
something else to say as we close out today?
No, that was it. I want to drive up there. Y'all make me want to get in my car and drive up there.
Well, look, I'm going to have to talk to Keith about a Healing Revealing show
Come
really
on.
soon.
Come on with
Because
it.
I need you to come up here. There's some people we need to so we just have such a collective amount of energy and personalities, and I think that the complement of everything that's out there, I think that that's what Keith is bringing together. It's not just it's only these personalities talking about these things. I mean, we have 2 studios. We are doing some amazing things, and it's just going to continue to grow. So I'll talk to Keith about this Healing Revealing.
Yes,
Come on, man.
I'm so for it.
Yeah, let's get you over. She's really local. She's closer than I am. So
Oh, she should have been here.
I
She
know.
should
Wanting to sleep late. Anyway, I want to thank you so very much for joining us. Did you want to tell people how to get in touch with you?
Yes, you guys, you can email me at goddessbutterfly with 2 Y's 444 at Gmail. And you can call me 213-421-7199.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Good help.
Yeah,
Anybody,
and
call
so
me.
absolutely, she's amazing. And so if you have missed that, you can always reach out to me, Coach AskZena, on any of the social media platforms, or my email is coach.askzena@gmail. Get in touch with me so that we can get you in touch with Miss Ray. And thank you for listening to us on the Good News Radio Station today. Just so grateful. Thank you.